Okay, let's see how this goes. Excellent. Okay, we are live. Yes, looks like it. Okay, so hello everybody. So what we're going to quickly do today, it's not going to be a long one, is we're going to quickly recap where Packet 1 left us, go into Packet 2. So, quick recap of Packet 1. Packet 1 of the D&D 1 playtest. We did to races, background languages. Races had a major overhaul. They no longer give you racial stat bonuses. That's been moved to backgrounds. Sizes get to vary a bit more than normal. And generally every race gets more interesting features. And then you've got backgrounds, which now will give a feat and a stat bonus. And then we have new feats, but they were specifically first level feats. So they're very basic. Some of the feats we're used to became first level ones. There were also some new ones. They weren't too strong, but that's to be expected. They're a first level feat. The rules glossary we largely get to ignore because they basically said all UA glossary gets superseded by the previous one. However, it's still interesting to discuss because a lot of people have basically said, oh, they've changed how inspiration works and they've changed how crit hits work because of community feedback, and that isn't true. That's not true at all. What's probably happened is because at the time they basically announced they were going to release this, the survey hadn't finished yet. In fact, if you look at all the Jeremy Crawford interviews, according to them, the survey was still ongoing. So, yeah, I think all of this design was done beforehand. What they will have done is what many designers do, where they go, right, we're going to make 5 different variants of one thing. We're going to play test them at different points, and we're going to see which gets the best result. But yeah, so largely we're going to ignore this section because it is basically superseded, and then the spells went up to level 1. So let's look at the new stuff. So what have we got in the new packet? The new packet for 1 gives the full spell lists. The Arcane Divine Primal spell list, instead of going to first level, now go to 9th. The rules glossary has been updated with some new things for us to test. There are new feats, specifically 4th level feats, and you've got new expert classes. One thing they did say is they do want people who are playtesting to use Packet 1 and Packet 2 in concert. Obviously, the rules glossary from Packet 2 supersedes Packet 1, but generally they would like us to use them together. Obviously, power level is going to vary. One thing they did discuss here was if you have a subclass from, say, Tasha's, one thing they're doing with these classes is they're going basically every class will get their subclass abilities at set levels, meaning whereas with the subclasses in the previous PHP, it was different classes got their subclass abilities at different levels to kind of fit wherever. So I think it's going to be interesting. Basically what it says, if you're using the old stuff, get the subclass abilities at the level that they say in that published work, but just be aware that it's going to be different for new stuff. Okay, so interesting things to note already is they've changed how multi-classing works. I like this change. So if you wanted to, actually let's load up the PHP a second. Go to the multi-classing rules. So currently you need a 13 stat, but there are some classes that needed 2 stats with a 13. Looking at this, how it basically works is every class has a primary stat. That primary stat is what you need a 13 in order to multi-class, so that will make it easier. Classes are also being put into groups. We have expert, mage, priest, and warrior. Artificer is considered an expert. Obviously, in the PHB, it's 3 classes per group, with the artificer making experts 4. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I like it because it basically goes, instead of, it'll make adding spells easier, adding classes easier, feats easier, because instead of going, well, you need to be this class or this class or this subclass, it just goes, no, the prerequisite is this group. It just makes expanding the game easier. Right, so the first up is Bard. As you can see here, primary ability Charisma. Seems reasonable. So let's compare this to the normal Bard. So I don't expect proficiency bonus is going to be any different. Doesn't look it. Your Bardic die goes from a D6 to a D12. Oh yeah, it's currently here instead of as a separate bit of the table. But yeah, goes up to a D12. And I think the spell table is basically the same. Yeah, the spell table's the same. So generally your progression through a bard is the same. It's just some of the levels you'll get stuff will be different. Still a D8. Dexterity and charisma. Yeah, that's the same. They've just changed the layout. Where's the skills? Oh, so current bard is you choose any 3. You do have to pick between. Oh no, it's deception, performance, persuasion, or any 3 skills of your choice. Okay. 3 musical instruments of your choice. Yep. And light armor. Okay. Multiclassing. 13 charisma. You get a light armor, spell slots. Okay, so Bard class features. As a Bard, you get the following class features. So, first level, you get Bardic Inspiration. Obviously, you get spell casting as well. So, yeah, first level, you get Bardic Inspiration. Now, how it currently works is you can give a creature a die, starting a D6, it goes up to a D12. And within the next 10 minutes, they get to add that to one of their rolls. Or as we would call it, a D20 roll in the new system. Once its roll can't be used, you get a number equal to your charisma modifier. You regain them after a long rest. So the new way it works is, it again starts as a D6 and it goes up as you go along. You get a number of uses equal to your proficiency bonus. Okay, get back on a long rest, of course. So you still get the boost to a D20 test, but the interesting bit is, instead of you giving it to a person, they have 10 minutes to use it. It's one of your reactions to give a creature a bardic inspiration. And then the other thing you can do, which is interesting, is you can immediately heal a creature. After they take damage. Interesting. Spells, obviously the most interesting thing is everyone is now a prepared spellcaster. Now this is interesting because their logic is most people will gear their spell lists for combat, which I personally think is not unreasonable. Most people I know will gear their spell list for combat. Maybe take 1 or 2 utility spells. Well, what they're basically saying is, if we give everyone prepared spells, you can have a toolkit for combat and a toolkit for not. The other interesting thing is they're giving you recommended spells. Okay, so this is interesting. Hold on, let's read this. So obviously they go, you can have these spells prepared, or you can pick some spells of your choice. Any spell you prepare for this class must be the arcane spell list, which we knew, and it must be from divination, enchantment, illusion, or transmutation. So you can't do evocation. So no fireballs for you, even if it's on the arcane spell list. Interesting. When you finish a long rest, you can replace any spell you've prepared for this class with an arcane spell of the same level, abiding with the school restriction above. Obviously, you have spell slots, Christmas spell casting, musical items. So you get expertise and 2 skills. Now this is different. So Song of... Oh, interesting. At 2nd level, you would have had Jack of all trades. I do believe you... Yeah, they've moved that to 5th level instead of 2nd. Interesting. So what was the 5th level? Yeah, because expertise was 3rd level. Okay, so they've moved it around a little. So you get expertise earlier and Jack of all trades later. That makes sense to me. That you would be slightly better at specific things earlier than everything. Song of Rest. So current Song of Rest is during a short rest you can play a song. People can then use that song to regain hit points by spending hit die. And if they spend the hit die, they also get an extra d6 hit points. Obviously that extra goes up as you level. But instead what they have done is as you progress through as you level your bard, at certain levels you get for free these spells automatically added to your spell list. So 2nd level Healing Word, 4th level Lesser Restoration, 6th level Mass Healing Word, 8th level Freedom of Movement, 10th level Greater Restoration. And they're just added to your spell list for free. You don't need to take up your known spells to take them. That's cool. I think that's more useful than what Song of Rest used to be. It's just very interesting seeing a bard getting a very healing focus. But obviously they can't take those spells as much. So I'm not sure they're on the arcane spell table, so it keeps bard having some healing, I guess. You 3rd level, you get a subclass. That's the same as before. 4th level, you get a feat because... Yeah, you gain the ability score improvement feat or another feat of your choice. Jack of trades, that's the same as it was before. 6th level, you get the class feature. Let's jump back up to the table a second. So, yeah, so before you got a Bardic College feature, but you also got Counter Charm. Counter Charm has disappeared, but I don't remember Counter Charm being very useful. Yeah, it was basically as an action you can play a tune till the end of your next turn, for which creatures get a bonus to their saving throws. But it just wasn't a very good ability. So honestly, yeah. 7th level Font of Bardic Inspiration. That's new. You now regain Bardic Inspiration on a short rest. Yeah, the rest of Bard was basically magical secrets. Oh, and if you roll a 1 on your Bardic Inspiration, you don't use up that Bardic Inspiration. Get a feat at 8th. 9th, you get 2 more expertise, which... Okay, so you get that a level earlier. 10th level, you get a subclass. 11th level, you get magical secrets, which is you can pick from any of the free spell lists and from any school of magic. So it's basically you get 2 spells where you get to ignore the stuff. 12th level you get feat, 13th level you get subclass, 15th level you get more magical secrets. So you get your magical secrets a level later at the moment. So what's that? Okay, so you get 2 more spells. So in total you get 4 spells. What's magical secret here? So 2 spells from any class. Two spells from any class. 2 spells from any class. So you lose 2 additional spells. This is improved because it used to be when you roll initiative, if you have no bardic inspiration, regain 1. Now it's just when you roll initiative, just regain 2. It doesn't matter if you've got any left or not, you just regain it. Is there something in bardic inspiration that let you do that anyway? Just want to check the wording. No, there was nothing about it before. So yeah, it's just a flat upgrade. And then at 20th level you get an epic boon. So everyone at 20th level gets an epic boon. The capstone's been moved to 18. Which is interesting. Okay. Interesting. And then you've got College of Law. Let's see how that compares. So originally you get 3 additional skills. You get 3 additional. Oh. Okay, so you don't get a choice. You have to take Arcana, Nature, History. But if you already have one of those skills, you get to pick something else. Then cutting words. So before it was when you see a creature in 60 feet make an attack, you can use bardic inspiration die to reduce the number. So how is it now? When a creature you can see in 60 feet succeeds an ability check or attack roll, use reaction to subtract the amount. Okay, so it's exactly the same. So then you had additional magical secrets. You got 2 more spells. Now it's when a creature rolls your bardic inspiration die, they can roll it twice and use it. Basically, they get advantage on your bonus, which is cool. Would people probably prefer 2 more spells from any list? Probably, but I think this just has more. This extra use is more interesting. Improve cutting words. Okay, yeah, because it just occurs. You had 3, 6, 14. They've added an extra step at 10th. When you use cutting words, you can deal psychic damage equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die plus your charisma. Okay, that's cool. Interesting. And then peerless skill. So you can use a bardic inspiration to buff your own roll. And it's exactly the same. Yeah. Overall, I think Bard has lost some additional spells. I think especially if you're a Lord Bard, you've basically lost 4 spells. If you're a normal Bard, you've lost 2. But you have gained some stuff. Obviously, the order of what you get and when is a bit different. But I think they have a lot of nice utility. Obviously, getting all the healing spells for free is rather nice. Then we've got Rangers. Oh, wait, no. Ranger's still going to need 2 stats for you to multi-class. Because it's got 2 primary abilities, Dex and Wisdom. That's annoying. Okay, so that was Bard. Let's look at Ranger. So range currently D10, light, medium armor, shield, simple weapon, martial weapon, strength, dex. Still a D10, strength, dex. You get 3 skills. Yep, 3 skills. Skill lists are largely the same. Simple martial weapons. The arm's the same. So, obviously, biggest thing is the fact they get expertise. Now, Ranger, I think, has pulled some stuff from its... Actually, that's one thing we should have looked at with Bard. Before we move on, we'll quickly jump back to Bard a second. Look at the optional class features. So, what was this? Okay, so they could use Bardic Inspiration to gain a bonus to their healing spells. The new Bardic Versatility. Okay. I could maybe see people wanting to keep using Magical Inspiration and Bardic Versatility as optional skills. Potentially. Okay, so let's look at Ranger. So, Natural Explorer's gone. You're still a half-caster? Yes. But you start spell casting immediately. But you still do cap out at 5th. Okay, so Nature's gone. Spell casting has moved to 1st. Primeval Awareness has gone. You've got Roving, which probably makes up for the favoured enemy and Natural Explorer improvements. Landstride is gone. I think Roving is actually more like Landstride. Obviously, you get expertise. Hiding Plate's sight has changed into Nature's Veil. Tireless is new. What's that more like? Vanish. Yeah, Ranger's undergone a lot of changes. Let's take a look. So obviously, multi-classing, you need Dex and Wisdom. At half your range levels rounded up to the appropriate levels of other classes when determining your spell slots. Okay, here we go. So first of all, you get expertise for 2 skills. Nice, simple, easy. Favoured enemy has changed. So how favoured enemy works is there are 2 ways it can work. You've got Favoured Foe, which was an optional class feature, which is when you deal damage, you can mark it, deal an additional 1d4. Sorry, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can mark it for a minute. It takes some extra damage. You get a number of times you get a proficiency bonus. And then there was Normal Favoured Enemy, where you picked a specific creature type, you got advantage on Wisdom saves against it. And you get language associated with them. I also thought you did additional damage to favoured enemies, but it doesn't read that way. And then you got Natural Explorer, which basically meant it affected a lot of the travel rules, but basically that's all gone. Favoured enemy is now you always have the Hunter's Mark spell prepared. Hunter's Mark doesn't require concentration. And it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare. It lasts the full duration or until you use a bonus action or you're incapacitated. So that's nice. Obviously, again, prepared spells, spell slots, uses wisdom. You do get cantrips, which is nice. Fighting styles, archery, defense, 2 weapons. Have they lost dueling? They've lost dueling, which is interesting. Whenever you gain a feat at later levels, fighting style feats are among your options, even though you aren't a member of the warrior group. Okay, that confirms a few things. Third level you get subclass, fourth level you get feat, extra attack. 6th level, so roving. Yeah, roving does feel like a replacement for Landstride. So Landstride was when moving through non-magical difficult terrain, didn't cost you any extra movement. Whereas now it's just your speed increases by 10 feet if you're not wearing heavy armor. You get climb speed and a swim speed. You get more feats, you get more expertise, subclass feature. 11th level you get tireless. So whenever you finish a short or long rest, you get some temporary hit points. And you get to reduce your exhaustion by 1 when you finish a short rest. Which is big. You then have Nature's Veil at 13th. And that is, as a bonus action, you can expend a spell slot to become invisible until the end of your next turn. Which is technically different to both of them, because Hide in Plain Sight was basically you could camouflage yourself and get a +10 to your stealth, but you couldn't do anything. And Vanishes, you can hide as a bonus action, and you can't be tracked. Nature's Veil feels a bit more immediate, a bit more useful, a bit less like there's going to be edge cases to cause the DM to briefly look at their player and sigh. And then you have Feral Senses. Yeah, you're aware of invisible creatures. Whenever you attack a creature, you can't see your ability. Okay, so basically, yeah, giving blind sight's a lot easier version of giving Feral Senses. And then Foe Slayer was you can add your wisdom modifier to attack roll of damage of an attack you make against a favoured enemy. Now it's you get 1d10 damage rather than 1d6 for your Hunter's Mark. Simple. So let's have a look at the Hunter subclass. This I remember being a... Okay, so one thing I immediately notice is you don't have the options. You get 1 thing per level. So before Hunter's Prey, you could either cause an extra 1d8 damage if the creature's below its hit point maximum. Large creature misses you, you can use your action to attack it again. Or you can make another attack with the same weapon against a creature within 5 feet of the original target. So now it's... when you hit a creature with a weapon or an unarmed strike, it deals an extra 1d8 damage if it's missing hit points. Okay, so effectively you take Colossus Slayer. Hunter Lore. If you've hunted marked a creature, you get to know its immunities resist. That's cool. That's cool. Multi-attack. You always have Conjure Barrage prepared. It doesn't count against the number of spells you control. You can also down-level spell now. That's interesting. Yeah, because before multi-attack was... you can make any number of attacks against creatures within 10 foot. Or a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you. And then you've lost defensive tactics. Instead, you get to know what their vulnerabilities are, which is fair enough. These are a bit clunky. And then Superior's Hunter's Defense. If you're hit by an attack roll, you can use your action to halve the damage. and redirect the other half to a creature other than the attacker. Okay. Yeah, because before it used to be evasion, uncanny dodge. Yeah, interesting. I slightly prefer that one, because it also lets rogue continue to be unique. And then we have rogue. Rogue is dexterity, so let's have a look. From rogue, from what I gather, is basically identical. So let's go down. Obviously, first level, you get expertise, sneak attack, thieves' cant, exactly the same as it was before. So you get expertise and 2 skills. Sneak attack is now once on each of your turns we make the attack action. Hit with an attack roll. If you're attacking with a finesse weapon or range weapon, I think that's the same. Hit with that attack roll. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all the same. Level rounded up. These were a tell. Let's have a look. So it's 1d6 to third. Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, it's a... Sneak attack is exactly the same. Thieves' cant is the same. Thieves' cant does give you an additional language on top of the language and top of Thieves' cant, which is nice. Cunning action, dash, disengage, hide. That's exactly the same as it is now. Third, you get your rogue subclass. Fourth, you get a feat. Fifth, you get uncanny dodge. Just check them gliding. Yeah, because now it specifies attack roll, not an attack. Expertise at 7th. Before you had it at 6th, then you had evasion at 7th. Evasion, I think, has been pushed down. Yeah, it's been pushed to 9th. But evasion's exactly the same, basically. There you get reliable talent at 11th, which is the same, basically. A 9 or lower, you treat as a 10. You to get blind sense at 14th. We don't get blind sense, but we do get subtle strikes. So you have advantage on attack rolls that target a creature within 5 feet of at least one of your allies. Slippery Mind also gives you charisma saving throws as well as wisdom now. Elusive at 17th. Yes, it was 18th. What's it now? No attack roll has advantage, so yeah, it's the same. 18th is Stroke of Luck, which is if the attack missed the target. If you fail a d20 test, you could turn into a 20. Okay, so you cannot... Oh, if your attack missed a target... Yeah, no, it's exactly the same. Except it now also works on saving throws. There you get your epic boon. So then we go to Thief. So before you could... Cunning action, sleight of hand. Use your thieves' tools. Yes, now it's you can take the search action as a bonus action, or make a sleight of hand check. So it's basically the same with the addition if you get the search action, which we'll get to in a bit. Second story work. Climb twice. Yes, there's no extra movement for climbing. When you make a running jump, increase the number of foot. Now it's your climb speed is equal to your speed. And when you take the jump action, you use a dexterity instead of a strength check. Supreme sneak the same. Oh no, Supreme Sneak is even better now. Has a slightly different offset cost, so before it was you had to move half your movement speed. Now it's just don't wear medium or heavy armor. Use magic device. You ignore all class, race, level restrictions on magic items. Now you can attune to 4 items. You can potentially use an item without expanding charges. And spells are easier for you to use. Spell scrolls. I think that's a nicer version of than use magical device. Mainly because often there's no point in a thief being able to use items they can't normally get. They can't use it for a reason. Usually because it's useless to them. When you're 17th... You actually get 2 turns at the first round of combat. Now it's... You get 2 bonus actions on your turn, provided it's from cunning action. Which I think is just better, because you get to use it every turn. Like, that is a solid improvement to Thief. So then we'll get to feats. Let's have a look. So ability score improvements now feat. It works exactly the same as it did before. Actor. I think that's basically the same. Let's have a look. Pop, prone. I mean, athlete is just... That's really good. What's this charger? Proficiency with a martial weapon. Increase your strength or dex. When you take the dash action, your speed increases by 10. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line before hitting a target. Okay, that's cool. Crossbow expert is just really good. Ignore the loading property of crossbows. You don't get disadvantage for shooting into melee if they're within 5 feet of you. You can make any extra attack with your light weapon. Oh right, so it's intended for hand crossbows. Dual wielder. When you're holding a weapon with the light property in one hand, you can treat a non-light weapon in your other hand as if it had the light property. That's cool. I think that's what dual wielder did anyway, but still that's cool that they've kept that for reasons we'll go on to in a bit. You have advantage on death saving throws, that's just solid. As a bonus action, you can expend a hit die. Durable is good. So, here we go, the epic boons. This is what you get at level 20. So if you're an expert or a warrior, if you miss with a melee attack, you can hit instead. Once you use this benefit, you can't until you roll initiative. Misty Step. Fair enough. Once per short rest. Or initiative. Ooh, getting just a free damage resistance is nice. Increase your maximum hit points by 40. You go additional hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. Oh, whenever you regain hit points, you get to add your con modifier to that. That's recovered. Sweet. You regain these hit points no more than once per round. Fair. Damage always ignores resistance. Solid. You get a luck. While in dim light or darkness, you become invisible as an action. Nice. You make a ranged attack and miss. Okay, so it's the same as the melee. Regain half your hit point maximum once per long rest, and you succeed on any death save that isn't a 1. You get proficiency in all skills. Well done. Speed increased by 30 feet on a monk. Oof. You can't be seen, heard by means magical or non-magical while you're hidden. Bonus action, you can disengage. Okay. Oh, here we go. Fighting style, so you get +2 attack roll. +1 bonus to armor class. Dueling is +2 to damage rolls with that melee weapon. Great weapon fighting, protection. There you go, 2 weapon fighting. When you make an extra attack with a light weapon, you add your ability score. Okay, yeah. I'm liking these so far. These are really neat. They're just neat. At the end of a short or long rest, you can give inspiring performance. Give people temper. Oh, here we go. Keen mind. This is a classic. Choose one of the following skills. If you lack proficiency, you gain proficiency. Otherwise, you get study action as a bonus action. Okay. Because keen mind used to be you just remember things, so that's no longer the case. Okay. You lose a bit of flavour, but you do gain some stuff. Disadvantage constant. Oh, that's cool. If you fail in save and throw. Okay. That bombs mount. Okay, so. Oh, something's happened. Oh, thank you for the raid. Shelley Von Miller. Thank you for the raid. I hope your stream went well. I hope it's going alright. And thank you for the follow. Yeah. Hi there. I am Aaron or Casey, both work. I am a variety streamer. I do some games design stuff as well as a variety of games, including FF14, Stellaris, and some horror games. So right now we're just going through Packet 2. We've gone through the different classes. We're just looking at some of the updated feats. We're just currently looking at the mount feat. So you have advantage. Okay, this is nice. This is a lot of extra stuff if you want to play mounted combat. Observant. See, it's kind of sad. Because Observant and Keymind gave you a load of fun roleplay stuff, which now they don't. Which is, it's just kind of sad that they're no longer the case. Oh yes, to anyone who has raided, be sure to take some time out. Make sure if you need to have your drinks, food, meds, the usual. Look after yourselves. Pull on, Master. Okay. Interesting that it needs to be a martial weapon, so you can't just have spears. Increase your strength. Okay. After you take an attack action, you can hit with the back end. As same as before, when holding a weapon that is heavy in reach. Oh, heavy in reach. Okay. that changes some things. I think that stops certain polearms being used. While you're holding a weapon that has heavy reach properties, you can use reaction to make one melee attack. So that's the same, but they've added some requirements. Ritual caster. Ritual caster. Ritual spells. Okay, so yeah, that's largely the same. Oh, fuck. That's new. Hold on. Ritual. Yeah, this is new. Basically, so rituals usually add 10 minutes to the cast time of a spell. But you don't have to use a spell slot. If you get that feat, you can just cast it as normal cast speed. That's amazing. Though you only get to do that once per long rest. But it's still really good. Oh, here we go, Sentinel. Will the Sentinel polearm combo continue? After a creature from 5 feet of you takes the disengage action or hits a creature, you can make an opportunity attack. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, its speed comes 0. Nope. Okay, still stays. Did Sentinel and polearm give you a stat buff? No. Oh god. Now they give you a stat buff too? Sharpshooter. Okay, this is interesting. I thought sharpshooter. So sharpshooter was attack at long range, does impose disadvantage, ignore half cover, it basically ignore cover. You can get -5 to get +10. So you can still ignore cover. You get a dex bonus. Long shots don't get disadvantage. But now instead of that -5, you just don't get disadvantage for attacks in melee. Bloody hell. Like, I don't want to go through every feat in detail, but generally, wow. A lot more feats have ability score bonuses. That's the first thing I'm noticing. A lot of these feats never gave you an ability score bonus. Everything basically gives you a chance to ignore range. Somatic components. Yes, this is largely the same. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the spell list because there are so many spells. But we will quickly go through the rules glossary. Okay, so ability check, same as before. So you pick a skill. DC, armor training, armor again if you don't have the training. You can't cast spells. Disadvantage on strength dex checks. Okay, so they're not doing auto successes in this one. The character rolls a 1 for a d20 check. They get inspiration. I think I actually prefer that slightly. I prefer the idea of you fail, but you get an inspiration to succeed, and you get an inspiration. It kind of like gives you a chance to, you know. It's like you progress, like you have failed, so there's gonna be a consequence, but you also have a chance to like not have it completely stop the game. Bark skin has changed. Okay, so let's have a look. So bark skin. Bark skin is a second level spell. It's still second level. It's in. We will get to that. Still transmutation. It's a bonus action now. Range touch, what was. Handful of bark. Okay, so most of the components are the same. The key thing here is bonus action to cast. And rangers will now be able to cast it. You touch a willing creature. Okay, so before the spell is, you touch a creature, its AC cannot be less than 16. Now it's, the skin turns to bark. You get a temporary hit points equal to your spell casting ability modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Okay, so that will be, what, 11 temporary hit points at best? When you cast exposure on a spell slot of third level or higher, you can target one additional willing creature. The interesting bit is at the start of each turn, so that's effectively giving them a constant for an hour. This ablative shield effectively reduce whatever attack's coming at you by this amount of damage. That's, I like that. That's really cool. Dash action. Difficult terrain. Every foot costs, yeah, so basically double the movement speed for difficult terrain. Space difficult terrain. If so, moving through a creature is still difficult terrain. Yeah, nothing that seems too out of the ordinary. Exhaustion has changed. It's now 10 levels to kill you, but so let's pull up, because I believe conditions are here. Yes, they are. Okay, so exhaustion used to be 5 levels. So at level 1, disadvantage on all ability checks, then your speed is halved, then you have disadvantage on your attack rolls, saving throws, then your hit point max is hard, then your speed is 0, then you're dead. Now, it is as soon as you get 1 level of exhaustion, your DC gets reduced, your D20 tests get reduced by an amount equal to your exhaustion level. But every time you do a long rest, it gets rid of it. And if you're a ranger and you get to a certain level, you can get rid of it on a short rest, which is cool. Expertise is exactly the same. Fly speed is fly. Grapple hasn't changed since the last time. They've changed guidance. It's now a reaction to someone failing a check, which is nice, because often you kind of really wanted to use guidance after the fact, not before. The other interesting thing is guidance is now you get the benefit once per long rest, which is good. It stops people just going, we're going to spam guidance until we complete the task. Help is the same as it's always been. They've just kind of spelled it out a bit better. You get expected to give yourself a mentor D20 test. Yeah, they haven't really changed much. Hidden. Okay, so let's have a look. Oh, there isn't a hidden. There's invisible, but there isn't a hidden condition. So what's this? You aren't affected by any effect that requires you to be seen. If you're hidden and you roll initiative, you have advantage. attack rolls against you with disadvantage, you have an advantage. It ends as soon as you make a sound louder than a whisper. The enemy finds you, you make an attack roll. Spell verbal component. Okay, seems reasonable. And then the hide action makes you hidden. That's cool. DC 15 stealth check. Okay. Interesting. So they've kind of codified hiding. I like that. Incapacitated hasn't changed. Influence action. You can try to influence another creature. The action you only be used on creature by DM. It's not mind controlled, so you can't do something counter the creature's alignment or repugnant. Creature's attitude determines how a character can influence them. Okay, so it's kind of codifying what we already know. Attraction. Okay, I like that. Invisible. So it's kind of, depending on the attitude of the creature, there'll be a d20 check. And depending on what you roll, depends on the result. Invisible. Yeah. For the purpose of hiding, it's heavily obscured. You can find it by tracks or noise. Attacks all have disadvantage. So I'm interested because effectively that like hiding. So you can't be seen. You get advantage. Yeah, so yeah, it's basically the same. You just also get the advantage on initiative. Now this is interesting. Light. So the light weapon property has been changed to basically take the rules from two-weapon fighting. And it's been slightly changed from what we know. It's basically, if both weapons you're holding are light, when you take the attack action, you get an extra free attack as part of that action with the offhand weapon. Which is cool. Have they... have they changed long rest? Because I swear long rest used to be half your hit die. Long rest and dry combat, 1 hour of walking, casting spells, or other similar activity. Magic action, when you cast a spell. Let's tell you. Oh, interesting. If you're casting a spell that takes a minute, each turn you have to use the magic casting action, and you have to maintain concentration. That's interesting. Largely... yeah, anyone can ritual cast. Interesting. So they're kind of codifying a lot of stuff, such as with the study. Interesting. Okay. Right. What do I think of this packet? I like it. I really like this packet. I think it's very good. I'm very interested where classes go from here. I like the grouping. I like the spells. I'm interested to see where this goes from here. There's a lot less stuff where I'm sat there going, do I agree with that decision? I'm just interested where they go with this. I kind of am at the point where I want to go, okay, this is cool. Can we see the rest of the classes? Can we see the other stuff? But obviously we'll have to wait. in theory, it might be we get to see mages next, which would be cool because I'm going to be playing a warlock. I'm going to be playing a certain class soon, so I need to know what mages can do, and I need to know what priests can do. But that is a thing for another time. Right. I don't think we've really got enough time for me to start doing any games design, so what we're going to do is finish there for today. I'm probably going to say we will meet up again tomorrow, and we will... Not tomorrow. I guess I could technically do another stream tomorrow, because obviously we had to cancel the rotation, which was probably going to be Stellaris, to see this new package when it came out. So what we can do is we might do a stream tomorrow, but we'll be definitely doing a stream Saturday for FF14. If anyone actually, while I quickly look up just to see if any channels are running, if anyone has any questions or anything they want to ask about the packet while we're here, or about any of the other stuff we do, if anyone has any questions, any thoughts, feel free to put it in chat, and we can have a quick chat while I briefly see what we want to do. Okay, I think we're going to raid Fron, who is currently just chatting. It looks like they're doing a visual novel-like game. Okay, so I'd like to thank you all for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Shelley Von Miller, for the raid and the follow. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And yeah, next week when we do a games design stream, hopefully we'll be back at doing game jam work. We might also take a look again at the Mystic Scion work we've been doing, and just seeing if we want to think about some of the changes, considering what we're now seeing as what's going to be the future of class design for D&D. But yeah, apart from that, thank you for coming, thank you for joining, and we will see you all next time.